Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans speaks straight off the practice field. Let's eat.
Yeah. It's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, Locker Room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize everything.
Welcome to the Locker Room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 on Sports Radio 610 in the Odyssey app. We had Dameon Pierce join us on the show earlier today, straight off of the practice field. Hopefully you enjoyed that. We got into some stuff that you wouldn't hear at the podium. That we'll get into a little bit later on throughout the week. Subscribe right along, get alerts. It is daily Texans digital content. Yes, daily Texans digital content. And we give you the best coverage we can possibly give you right here in the locker room. Let's hear from the head coach of the Houston Texans, DeMeco Ryans. He spoke with the media types straight off of the practice field. First question he was asked was about Dameon Pierce. We've talked a lot about the usage of Dameon Pierce. Here's DeMeco Ryans talking about the style in which Pierce runs, the usage, and everything else that he brings to the table.
Yeah, Dameon has been consistent all offseason. He's been here every day. He's been upbeat. He brings tremendous energy, not only to our offense, but to our entire team. So always has a smile on his face, always working hard, improving on the little things that he has to work on. And I'm excited for the season that he will have ahead of him. And not only Damon, I think it's the complement of the guys that we have with adding Devin, right, and Mike and some other guys there in our backfield. I think it's just that complement where Dameon doesn't have to do it all on his own. But his physical style, the speed that he plays with, the way he is improving in his block, in his pass protection, it's been fun to watch.
The compliment's going to be really, really valuable for Dameon Pierce and the way in which they surround him. That running style, you can't give that 20, 25 times a game and expect that to last a long time. I want Dameon Pierce to be a member of the Texans for a while. I've talked about the Marion Barber comparison. I've talked about the comparison of minimizing him in a good way so that you can maximize him in an even better way. The Singletary thing is going to have to work. Even the other backs that they're bringing in, they're going to have to be able to complement Dameon Pierce in order to benefit and reap the benefits and maximize the production that you could get from a player like Dameon Pierce. And it's good to hear DeMeco Ryans say that he understands that. Some running backs would say, or some coaches would say, we're going to run him into the ground, the old school, the Lovie Smith style that we heard about last year. It does seem like not minimizing and maximizing at the same time is the goal when it comes to Dameon Pierce. Here's more from the head coach of the Texans. Expectations.
What I've seen from our team overall, I've seen growth. Right? From where we started to where we are now in this third week, it's the growth, and that's what excites me about working with, a new group of guys coming together, young veteran guys, and just seeing those guys come together in such a short period of time, and to see how they've grown from week 1 to week 3. That's the goal that we were hoping for. And to see them go out and compete today, we had a couple, just team periods, everybody off the field, just competitive football. And to see those guys operate, communicate, right, make plays on both sides, it's just fun to see, iron sharpening iron.
So just generic question, generic answer about OTAs. Nothing wrong with that. Are there any rookies that have stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, the rookies, they're all as a group, they're doing well. I think you start with, the two guys that we drafted first, CJ and Will. Those guys have done an excellent job of what they've been tasked. They've been getting better. You also talk about a young guy like Jesse Matthews, who's coming along, making plays, getting better. Right? Xavier Hutchinson, Tank, like all our guys have been doing a really good job. Juice has done a great job of just being consistent in there. It seems like a vet already, like with the consistency that he operates at. So all around, we have a really good group of rookies, and I'm excited to see them come back training camp and we put the pads on, actually, get an opportunity to play some real football. I'm excited to see their growth.
Now that is music to your ears. If you're a Texans fan, the Juice looking more like a veteran because he's going to have to. You're going to play center. It's one of the positions that you're going to communicate the most on. They traded up for you. They need a starting center. They need to upgrade there. So for him to single out Juice Scruggs and say that he's looking like a veteran, that's good news. And Xavier Hutchinson apparently had another good catch today. So look out for him. Here's more from head coach DeMeco Ryans. How much will the offense?
Everything with our run game is going to start first and foremost, with the offensive line and how well we're operating, as a unit, with the offensive line. And Dameon, with his style and what he showed last year in his first year, I think Dameon is only going to get better, right? He's shown that he can carry the load, but we don't want him to carry the load. We want to help him out to make sure we have a good complement of players back there. And on the fundamentals.
Did you hear that question? What do you like about Dalton Schultz was the question.
Dalton, what I like about Dalton's game is he's not just a one-trick guy. Like, Dalton does a good job in the blocking game. He also has great hands. He's always open, right? He's a big target. He's very quarterback friendly. So it's one thing playing against – going against Dalton a lot there in the NFC. He made a lot of big plays. So I'm excited to see what he can do for us here.
The tight ends are going to be a big part of this offense. I'm telling you, I was talking about it this morning. I was just taking the dog for a walk, and all of a sudden we started talking about the Texans, and he was talking about the receivers, and tight ends are going to be nice. I think Bobby Slowick is going to maximize these tight ends, and that's the key to the Shanahan offense. There's no set, this guy does this or this. It's about adjusting. Like, what Shanahan ran in Washington wasn't the same as in Cleveland. What he ran in Cleveland wasn't the same as what he ran in Atlanta when Matt Ryan was the MVP. In San Francisco, it seems like it changes all the time. So adjusting, I think the strength, potential strength, hidden strength, I think the tight ends are going to produce a lot better than a lot of people expect. All right, here's the Nuke Hopkins question. Get your popcorn ready. Nuke Hopkins.
Hey, with any player, like good players, right? You come up all the time. Nothing is off the table for us. We'll explore, all options. Me personally, I have not spoken with anyone.
Thank you. So he didn't speak with DeAndre Hopkins. There wasn't any meeting or anything like that. He doesn't seem interested, but he won't dismiss it. What does that do for you when you're trying to roll out certain formations
to with the secondary, they have, I think now the way the game is going is more heavy pass, right? All throughout the NFL. So the more versatility that you can have in your back end, whether you're playing a nickel or dime defense, the more DBs you have that can cover and do multiple things, I think the better off you can be when you're trying to strategize against these different opponents that run more RPO game, more passing threats. If we can add more guys who can cover, can make plays, I think it just helps you defensively. And it opens up, right, the possibilities of the different type of strategies that you can do defensively. Yeah.
You see this potential tone setter, just the kind of hitter that he is. Once you can hit.
Yeah, hopefully he's not hitting anybody right now. No, but Denzel, it's good to see him back out. Denzel, knowing his track record and seeing him make a ton of plays in this league, being an all-pro player, Pro Bowl player. I'm fired up to work with him. He's been a pleasure to have. Great energy, feel the leadership, what he brings to our entire team. It's been fun to work with Denzel. I'm excited to see him, come training camp. All right, thank you guys.
There you go. It's DeMeco Ryans, head coach of your Houston Texans. So the three biggest takeaways at the podium. Number one, the Pierce use. That's one thing that he goes in depth on. There's nothing generic about it. There's nothing cliche. There's no coaches speak. They want to minimize him to maximize him. He's made it very clear. So bringing in Devin Singletary and all these other running backs, they're going to have to perform at a decent level if you want to do what DeMeco Ryans says he wants to do. And quite frankly, what I think is in the best interest of Dameon Pierce. So that's takeaway number one. Takeaway number two, getting specific about rookies. Juice Scruggs looking like a veteran. It's going to have to. It's going to be communicating. He's going to be touching the ball on each play on offense. In a perfect world, he's CJ Stroud's center for a long, long time, and they obviously liked him a lot. And when you hear DeMeco Ryans say specifically, he talks about the rookies all doing well, but he mentions and singles out Juice Scruggs as a vet. That's takeaway number two. Number three, DeAndre Hopkins. Doesn't seem like DeMeco Ryans is too down with it. I wouldn't expect him to say if he was, but I kind of believe him on this. I don't think that DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a go here. Subscribe, like, right along. Appreciate everyone for coming through. That's DeMeco Ryans. Plenty more to get into this week. It's going to be a real fun week. It's going to be an active week. Dameon Pierce was on the show. John McClain had some big news that he broke about the DeAndre Hopkins thing. Dalton Schultz spoke as well. And I'm scared of Nico Collins. I'm terrified, actually, of Nico Collins, even more so than that Curious Case of Natalia Grace that I watched. God, if you've watched that, God, gives me nightmares, as does Nico Collins. I'll explain why a little bit later on. Subscribe, like, right along. It's the Locker Room, #1 source for Texans daily digital content. No matter what happens when it comes to the Texans, we're all in this together. Have a good day.
Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop.